I thought it was going to be one of those long lectures and you'll fall asleep, but I was intrigued the whole time. Like, it just touched me, all the stories and everything.
No, I actually expected it to be like really boring and...
Well, when I first came here, I'm like, guest speakers, it's probably going to be, all bunk and everything. But
it was much more, I don't know, to our levels.
I thought it'd be really boring, but...
I thought it was really good. It changed my way of thinking.
I expected some lady to kind of just talk to us about how sex is bad and gross and dirty and everything like that. But
they were really honest. I didn't expect people to be that open with people they'd never met in their life. And I guess the honesty made you believe it more.
Honestly, I thought it was going to be boring and not too much action.
So I thought I knew it all, but it turns out that there's always so much more you can learn. It was awesome.
I don't know, I thought it would be kind of boring and just the same old type of talk where they just rattle on you about it, but...
Well, I came here thinking that if it sucked, I was leaving in 15 minutes. And I'm going to leave here just being totally amazed at these people.
I don't know, it's just a lot of my friends that I know, it hit all of us, basically.
And I just want to thank them for doing such a good talk, because it touched me so much, and I can't even express how much my life is going to turn around after this.
Welcome, everybody, to our talk this morning. Our speakers this morning, Jason Everett and Cristalina Padilla. They come to you from San Diego, California, and I would like you to welcome our guest speakers this morning, Jason and Cristalina. Jason, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. To get started, I need a guy volunteer from the audience. I need a big guy, big. Okay, you're pretty big. Okay, come on down. Yeah, that'll work. Come on down. Give him a hand. Come on up here. There you go. Now, what's your name? Luke. Good to meet you, Luke. Everybody say hi, Luke. Hi, Luke. Now, Luke, do you know what the talk is on today?
It's on chastity.
I'd say it's a sex talk today. So since this is a sex talk, we've got to cover certain issues like how far it's too far to go with a girl on a date, and stuff like that. So what Luke and I are going to do is he and I are actually going to show you guys how far is too far to go on a date, okay? Now, and in order to do this, I'm going to be the guy, Luke is going to be the girl, okay? Now, Luke's not a very pretty girl, but that's okay. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. But we can change that. So we'll get Luke prettied up a little bit. So why don't you throw this on? Yeah, there you go. That's the front. It's a little nappy. You'll be pretty. There you go. That's frightening. Now I've actually never dated anyone named Luke before, so we're going to give you a name change, and your name is going to be Shanae, okay? So, now, Shanae and I, we decided to go for a date. So we go for a date at the Grand Canyon, right here, and I start thinking to myself, well, how far do you think I get my beloved Shanae to the edge of the Grand Canyon without actually throwing him off the Grand Canyon? Him, her, it, whatever, but, sorry. But there's only one way we can find out how far you can get to that edge, so I've got to pick you up into my arms, okay? All right, so hold on to this. Hold on to me. Now hold on tight. Hold on to me. Now, how far can we get to the edge? Can we go further?
That's far enough.
Okay. All right. Take a seat. Give him a hand. Good job, Luke. Thank you, bud. Good man. Now, what's the point of that whole deal? The point of that is basically this, that none of us guys would take a girl who we love to a dangerous place and say, well, how close can I get to killing her? Usually we don't ask, but when I was in high school, we'd always ask in our relationship, well, how far can you go? I mean, should we do this together? Should we do that together? And in my high school, they'd give us the sex talk, but every time they gave us a sex talk, all it was about was guilt or fear. It'd be, they'd get up there and they'd be like, sex is bad, sex is dirty, poo-poo, poo-poo. Or they'd be like, you know, you're gonna die, sex is gonna kill you, you know. And they'd try to scare the pants off you, or pants back onto you if that be the case. But it was all about fear. All they tried to do is scare us. They'd sit you down and they'd talk to you about gonorrhea, but they never sat us down and said, now here's the difference between love and lust. Here's how you know when you really love a girl, and here's how you know when you're getting used. They never made that stuff clear to us. So I remember I was in high school, I hooked up with this one girl, and we were doing all sorts of stuff, and she stops me. And she's like, Jason, you're not gonna leave me like the other guys, are you? And I was like, no. And she's like, oh, you're so sweet. And I was like, okay, all right, anyway, and whatever. And we did different things, then we came up to that line, and I had to ask myself, okay, you know, should I lose my virginity to this girl? And I thought, well, do I love her? And I thought, well, I've known her for 3 days. And I'm like, this is love. And I could hear in the back of my heart this voice that just said, Jason, this gift is not for her. That gift is for your bride. Please wait for her. And we cooled things down. We went our separate ways. I hooked up with another girl, came right up to that line, and then the same voice, Jason, this gift is not for her. That gift is for my bride. Please wait for her. And we cooled things off, and so to this day, I'm still a virgin, and I'm as happy as can be. And most people think that by the time you get in your 20s, like I'm gonna die of virginity or something. You know, I'm gonna start having like virginity conniption fits or something. You know, like, you know, abstinence is very good. You know, I'm sorry, I get twitches from virginity, you know. But you should really stay virgin. You know, I'll start foaming at the mouth from virginity, and you know, I'll explode and die here. You know, Luke will be like, whoa, you know. What happened to the sex guy? And you're like, oh, you didn't hear? He was a virgin. That'll kill you. Forget about it. The virginity's not lethal. I was at the airport the other day, and I saw this magazine. I had to pick it up here. It's called Complete Woman Magazine, all right? Just a splendid periodical. Oh, subscriber, okay. And so this guy's in here. They're talking about sex. And this guy says, quote, he said, sex is extremely important to me. When I'm in a relationship, it's essential. In fact, a year ago, I felt compelled to break up with a woman I really loved because we didn't have sex enough. The lack of sex nearly killed me. So apparently he's rushed to the hospital for lack of sex or something. But this is what we're basically told, that if you're not having sex, something's wrong with you. Maybe you're dropped on your head as a baby or something. But then they say, but if you have had sex, it's too late for you anyway. We hear this constantly. And I know some of you are virgins, and I know some of you are not virgins. And frankly, I don't care what happened last weekend, last month, last year. I mean, it's in the past, and I mean, I care, but what's happened has happened. For those of you who are virgins, I say good for you, because people who get married as virgins have a divorce rate that's 60 to 70% lower than those who won't wait for marriage. Now, some of you are thinking, well, Jason, look, I'm not a virgin anymore. Or Jason, I had my virginity taken from me. Does that mean I'm gonna have a messed up marriage? If you're like me, you're so sick of the whole divorce thing. I was just over to high school in Washington. After the talk, a junior comes up to me, and he goes, Jay, I know what you mean about divorce. He said, Jason, my dad is on his 9th marriage. High school junior had seen his dad get 8 divorces. Now in LA, I live in San Diego. Up the coast in LA, there are jewelry stores in LA where you can rent wedding rings. You don't have to buy them anymore, because they know you're just going to dump your wife. You might as well save some money in the whole exchange. I found that out because I had to go shopping recently, because Kristalina and I got engaged a couple months back, which is a pretty cool deal, so thank you very much. So, but, you know, we're also sick of the whole divorce thing. So it starts to make a bit of sense. But what about everything that comes before sex? Can you do this on a date? Can you do that? Easiest way to figure it out is this. We're at this high school in Chicago. At the end of the talk, we did a Q&A. Guy raised his hand, and he goes, okay, Jason. He says, your talk was fun. He said, but can we get specific? I said, well, sure. And he goes, well, I want to know exactly how far I can go with my girlfriend. I said, well, that's a good question. What do you want to do with her? And he was like, uh-oh. I said, yeah, okay. I said, well, we're not in 3rd grade. We can be specific, mature. What do you want to do? And he's like, cool. He's like, can we do this and this and this and this and this? And he goes through this list of sexual favors. And I said, well, okay, we'll slow down. Pick one. And he's like, okay. He goes, I got it. He goes, oral sex. Can we do that on a date? And I said, well, I'm going to have you answer your own question. And he's like, oh, good. And I said, well, do you want to get married one day? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to get married one day. I said, that's cool. So I said, so if you're going to get married one day, I said, that means that your future wife, your future bride, she's out there somewhere right now, isn't she? And for the first time in his 17-year life, he thought about his future wife. And he said, yeah, she's out there, cool, cool. And I said, but let's say she doesn't live here in Chicago. Let's say she lives where I live in San Diego. Schools just